All right, guys. Sorry that this video isn't like my normal ones, but I just have a lot of time lapses, so I'll do voiceovers describing what's going on. Um, but yeah, sorry. Here we go, though. All right, most of the parts are cleaned. Got the alternator, power steering pump, all those brackets. Still need to clean the oil filter housing. Got this side of the block cleared off. Gonna pull the crank pulley and yeah, just clean the rest of this up. Then take the oil pan off. I gotta drill out. Oh, I gotta drill out this section and tap it. It's gonna be fun, but yeah, wish me luck. All right, I got the engine cleaned up and replaced the front main seal. Now I have to deal with the water pump and thermostat housing. So the one that came on the car, the 602, has this fitting and this fitting in it. So I'm just gonna take the housing off here and put it on the 606. I believe the housing should work. I'm not too sure about the pump at this point. I might just buy a 602 pump for that. But I remember at one point I had a 603 and tried to put a 606 pump on it, even though it bolted up. I think the thickness of the fans on the back of the pump made it interfere with the housing itself. So we'll see once we get this off. Unfortunately, this water pump doesn't have the little, there's usually something, you stick an Allen key in the back of this pulley and then it locks onto the pump so this stops turning, but this pump has none, which sucks. So I'm gonna see how I could grip the pulley to stop this whole entire thing from spinning when I turn it. But after that gets on, I'm gonna put the oil filter housing on and then take this whole entire thing off and get the oil pan off. And probably just do the clutch and flywheel and everything too while I'm at it and the rear main seal. But first things first, gotta get to the water pump and hopefully things work out. All right, got the water pump off. Ended up just clearly taking the housing off and pulling the oil dipstick out of the way. And I found out something with these, which kind of sucks because it's more time, but whatever. These are temp sensors that's on the 602. Here is the 606 housing. Boom. Numbers different. 601, 605. Now if you look at in here, it's deeper than in here. So it seems almost like a bigger diameter wheel too. So I don't actually have taps for this. I have a whole entire tap set. but the biggest size is M12 that I have. So I'm thinking instead of tapping this just to order a 602 pump and use this housing, because actually, I don't know. I'll see. I'm gonna look up the proper tap and see how fast I could get it here, but I'd prefer to use the 606 because I already have the water pump for it. But if I matters on which one I could get faster, I'm probably just gonna look it up now and see. But I'm gonna finish up putting the rest of the stuff on and deal with that. Oil pan's out, so I'm gonna scratch this off, which actually is the biggest pain in the ass to do. But looked up in there, rotated the back 3 cylinders, seem to be in perfect shape. None of the rods are bent. But yeah, just gonna clean this up. Gotta tap that one section out for the RPM little trigger gauge thing, and pop this back on. Alright, been at this for like almost an hour now, almost done. Really pain in the ass. But yeah, getting there. This stuff does not come off, it's like baked on there. But so far so good. Almost done with this, and then gonna do the whole drilling thing. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to try and, center this. Get it perfect. So, got it. I'm gonna measure with a caliper and try and strike center. And there you have it. Got it in. Ended up drilling it out, then using this because I didn't have a big enough drill bit. It was honestly, it made it to like a cone. So after I made it to a cone, I drilled out the back the same way and used this to, I guess, smooth everything out. But yeah, it works. So hopefully this picks up the RPM signal. In the works today, I have to drill and tap the 606 thermostat housing and also water pump housing. I want to use the original 602 engine harness, and unfortunately they have a lot of coolant sensors everywhere. And the 606, the turbo version, doesn't have much at all. I think it only has one. I'll run back and check. But yeah, these have 2 in the housing. One's here and one's here. So I'm gonna drill those, tap those, throw everything back on. Got a new water pump, so I gotta throw that on as well. But I'll show you guys the what I was talking about. I already added 1 and 2. There was only one here. It was like a newer style without these 2-pin type plugs. It also has another spot right here that you could drill. And this one had 1 million. So, got to do that today. Other than that, probably gonna throw the flywheel on. And I got bolts. Because unfortunately, where are they? Where did I put them? Oh, right here. So I have to buy some hardware for this. You want to bolt the ring gear to the flex plate because the torque from the starter could rip the ring gear off of the flex plate. So Kangaroo's team recommends you bolt this to here so it's one piece. I'll show you the back so you can understand. You can see. So this will rip off if you don't bolt it on because it's only held in by, I guess, these press fitting things there. So, gotta get hardware, bolt those on, then put this back on the motor, bolt the flywheel to it, bolt on the clutch and pressure plate. All right, that took a little while, but everything's on. Got the thermostat housing on, water pump, the pipe that leads out of that, alternator bracket, put the crank pulley on, the power steering pumps on, and the pulley. For the front end to complete, all I need is a spring and a tensioner. Still got to put the pump on, but I have the flywheel on, which is good. Torqued everything down, marked it. Now I have to put the clutch and pressure plate on. I would put the transmission on right now, but I'm waiting on a throwout bearing, so that'll wait until whenever I get that. Still waiting on the brackets before I could throw it in the car. But yeah, fortunately, I'm not even sure if I said this before, I found a 5-speed, a 717.435 from a 190E. So I have the links for the shifter that'll work, or at least I know the length because I'm gonna have to modify the SLK one. But I have another 5-speed here. I wanted to swap. Well, this is going way off tangent, but yeah. Whatever, I'll continue. Yeah, I have a 5-speed here. This one's from SLK, that's one from the 190. This SLK was rear-ended, and when I got to it, this was jacked up on the rear housing. It pushed the screw through and grinded down on that. I'm not sure how well the transmission is. Never took one of these things apart. I'm gonna take it apart and see if I could swap this with that, the rear housing, because they have the same bolt pattern and they're the same length, but this is much higher. As you can see, this like it goes down into something, but this one has a thing for the speedo, so you could just stick the piece of speedo right into that and you'll be good. Yeah, so I'll figure that out. All right, next step. I actually didn't video the setup or whatnot, but got plastic down on the driveway so this stuff doesn't ruin it any more than it already is. Took the little reservoir tanks out. One's coolant, one's washer fluid. They're over here. Gonna clean all this up. There's slight rust there, but that doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, just clean all this up. Gonna probably put some plastic over all the power steering lines that are exposed. And yeah, get to work. I'll just record doing, I guess, the process. But dude, look at that brake fluid. Straight black. Anyways. All right, not bad. It came out pretty well. Again, just quick spray, brush it up in nasty areas, and pressure clean the majority of it out. So, gonna pull it in the garage and throw the trans on that motor and stick it back in the car. I was waiting for like 3.5 weeks for these things to come in. They're mounts. I assumed the 602 mounts would work, but nah. The engine's gonna sit way too far forward. So Kangaroo's team makes a lot of products. So got this from them. It's a little engine bracket. Kind of pricey, but whatever. Saves time. Not really, because like I had to wait 3 weeks for it, but is what it is. Got those. Gonna put the clutch on and then throw one of the transmissions on them, or on it, and throw in the car. All right, that was a bit of a pain in the butt. I had to take this flange off because these flanges on the SLK transmission for this adapter. It's too large. Show you guys what I'm talking about. Alright. So, go like that. Bam. So, that whole lines up. Oh, that's too big. So as I was saying, kind of difficult with one hand, but is what it is. The large triangle is too big. Alright? And the small triangle is too small. So I'm going to take, I believe, I hope, to be honest. If not, I have to take it off to the transmission that's over in the corner that came with this car. But this is a 190E, 5-speed, not SLK. Oh God. So this is a little flange one, and this one should work. So I'm gonna do the same to this transmission as that one to get this flange off, because this one, nice. Guess I'm gonna have to drill that out. But anyways, this one seems like it goes on the small one, or at least it looks like it lines up. I'm gonna just stick bolts through it. I'm pretty sure it does. And yeah, after I do that, guess I gotta drill this hole out. Fun stuff. Because I don't think I'm gonna over this one either. Something big. Yeah, I'll measure them and drill that out. Alright, that was a pain in the ass. Now, I'm just gonna get an impact and try and get that out. I drilled it out a few times and tried to use that on it, the breaker bar, but the transmission just keeps spinning around in a circle. So I'm just gonna throw the clutch on and put the transmission on. I already changed the clutch release bearing. It's actually pretty easy to replace. I thought that it might be difficult, but there's just a little plastic clip that holds that bracket on. So plastic clip on the right, pull that off, the whole thing slides out, and then the release bearing, you just click in and out. Pretty straightforward. There's no instructions online. But yeah, now this. I'm gonna clean the service off, put the clutch on, make the transmission up to the engine, clean up that starter and put the starter on, and then put the brackets on, engine motor mounts, and throw her in there. Also gotta replace the mount on the transmission. All right, unfortunately, the video stopped recording while I was putting the transmission on. But anyways, got it on, got the starter on, changed the motor brackets and mounts and trans mount. So now I'm going to stick it in the car. Got to lift it up a little. I ended up taking the AC condenser out of it because I couldn't lower it when all the lines were connected. And I was like, it has to come out because I don't want to damage it. There's a lot more area that I could easily slide the motor in. So I'm going to do that now. I'm not even sure if I need to jack the car up, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go down significantly once weight gets on it. So I am jacking it up from the center. I might put it on, I'm just going to jack it up, put it on stands so I could actually control the angle of the transmission. It's pretty short, but it's what it is. I'm going to try and put it in. All right. So she's in there. It was a little difficult. I did go ahead and use the little, where is that light at? Whatever, I don't care. I did end up using the brackets at the 15 millimeter back setting. This side lines up all right. The other side is a little forward. Has the clearance on the hood right now is really horrible because there's no transmission mount. I'll see tomorrow once I make the mount, if that'll help out. If not, these mounts, which I got from, I think they were FCP Euro, they might be too tall for the car. I know they use, for some reason, like almost all the same mounts for all Mercedes, which didn't make any sense to me. But they seem a little high, but we'll see how that turns out tomorrow. Radiator clearance is kind of rough, and the mount on this side, it's forward, so I'm gonna have to try and like pull the transmission to the passenger side and see if I could swing it around once I get that bolt in the other side to make it line up properly. But still got to put the pump on, filter, change injectors, change valve cover gaskets, wire everything up, get this condenser back mounted on, compressor. But all in all, can't complain. Motor's finally in, and time to do all the little bits that take up the majority of the time. But yeah, pretty pleased so far. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, because I asked. I don't know. Have a good one.